Yes, fine.
Hi, Ray. Thanks. Chewy, all right. And Chen? Chen, are you here? All right. Cool. All right, so let me share you my screen with the slides. All right. Okay. So welcome to our 5th lecture already. It's crazy how fast the time passes. I hope you had a good last week where we didn't have any lecture. And today will be about the following things. So, let's see. We will finalize the validation plan, like the slides we had. I'm already curious what kind of name you gave your startup, and then I will help you to get to know more the surveys, how to set up surveys in Google Forms, and then we will also go through one tool which is called Strikingly, and you will be actually able to build your own website today. So I will help you to build a small micro page, so like one page. And then you can decide if you want to use that for your validation experiments or not. And the closing of the lecture will be about the perfect dream team. So I made a lot of experience myself as a founder, but also when I'm talking to other entrepreneurs, they are always struggling with team problems and how to find a good co-founder and so on. So this is, I think, a very needed topic we need to go through, as this is very interesting on the one hand, and also the other hand also very dependent on your repetition of last lecture. As usual, I would just like to ask you, everybody, what did you learn the last time, and how I already saw 2 of you send me their homework. So like not the homework, but like the whole validation plan. This is hand to be in until next week. So if you still want to continue after today on this validation paper or on the validation report, feel free. But I was glad already to see that you were working a lot on it. So the second question, what do you have any problems there with the validation report? What did you learn from that so far? So just a quick round. In my list here, Chen is number 1. So do you want to start? Just a quick feedback. What did you learn last time and what did you learn with the homework?
Okay. Last time we learned about validation. We use the validation broad to process our business idea, and we talk about the most risky assumption, but that is always need to be possible.
Mm-hmm. All right. And what did you learn with the start of the homeworks?
I send you my homework via email to you. And
was there some learnings? Did you come across some problems, or was everything clear?
For me, I think it's from my perspective, I think it's very hard to think how was the really customers thought.
What do you mean by customer thought?
Because I make some assumption, but I cannot prove it by myself if it's possible or it's not possible.
Okay, because the solution is too complicated, or because you did not ask the customers yet?
Because I can I think it's very hard for me to find the right target customer.
Okay. All right, then I will note it down, and I will have a look later, and then hopefully send you some ideas how to tackle this challenge.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, number 2 is Ethan. You're muted.
Sorry. What should I say about?
So, what did you learn in the last lecture? And what were you learning so far with the homework, or did you have some problems?
Well, the last lecture is quite good for me to give me some example how to do in the the question we meet in the in the real action world. So the problem I made is actually I try to search the tunnel in my search is about the tunnel, and I try to search the tunnel or gotten the most of this information are usually not helpful for my research.
The examples in the lecture, you mean, are not helpful for your case?
It doesn't quite match the situation I made, because
Okay.
usually if you want to search something in like in technology something technology or books, it can be easily find because the definition is there, and the real example is there. But I don't think much people do have done something research about the trend tunnel before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the new guy here, so maybe I didn't find the right way to search it.
Okay, so you came across a challenge not to find so many information and examples from previous done research for your specific business case.
Yes.
Okay.
But I gonna try this week.
And yeah, I think you're totally right. If it's like more innovative and like more new, it's harder to validate for sure. But you can like, the best thing is always to speak with like, find the right people to talk to. And you can do that through LinkedIn, Xing, especially when you want to do it in Germany. I think there are some good networks where you can look up the potential target person and then approach him through this. Or you find certain information which is done like research from China, and then just basically use this research from China and localize it for Germany. So what's in China, what's in Germany, so how can you connect it somehow,
Well, the first question I made is, you can go to the metal, the S-Bahn map of for example, Frankfurt, but the station on this map is not 100% as it was in the real world. It's far more complex than it shows on your map.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean. For example, between the two stations, if we want to make the advertising like what we did in Shanghai, we need a long tunnel, and for the best situation, it should be a straight one.
Mm-hmm.
But you will see almost all the maps will show you that this station to the next station is straight line.
Yeah, okay.
It's not in the real life.
Yeah, and it has to be straight.
If it's not straight, it will change the picture, and I don't know whether it works or not. If we want to let these LED tubes become a moving picture in the end, you need to control the speed. You have to care about the speed of the train.
Mm-hmm.
And when the train running, there's a sensor which can send a message to the computer, told the computer to control these LED tubes. And if it's not if it's not straight, how can you make sure that all these pictures will become all these LED tubes can make a picture in the right way?
Yeah,
it can got it. Okay.
Yeah. I will think about it and send you later some ideas how you could prove. At the end, it's about validating if it's possible, and I understand it's complicated. Let's see, maybe we find a solution together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then Chia Wei, your turn. Your connection is not so good. Could you repeat it? No problem. Yeah. Yeah. You mean? Let me see. You mean the table for the assumptions? Yes. Let me see. You mean this one, right? Yeah. This is basically just an additional column. It's basically this just for your better understanding. If this assumption, if you are confident if this assumption is true or not. So basically, you start with the riskiest assumption. So basically, with the assumption which is the most important for your business model or your business idea. And then it's just for your better feeling. Okay, what do you think? I believe that I have a 50% chance that this assumption is not true. So in 50% of the cases, you will need to change probably something. So this is just for for prioritization. So if you for example have a very risky assumption, and the chances that it's not true is just, I don't know, 5%, you should probably already get started with the second assumption and start simultaneously. So because here the chances are very high that it's true. This is, I mean, so important. Most important thing is you identify the risk assumption and this was number one, and then just go. So you need to fill it out if you don't understand it. It's not so important. Yeah, it's just the impact on business. You know, when the assumption is true, I mean, the impact is obviously, okay, we can continue. If the assumption is wrong, not true, then it can has several impacts, right? You can do a pivot, so you can change completely the business model. It can mean you need to change the target customer. It can mean you need to change the technology, and so on, right? It can have different impacts. So this is quite interesting and important to understand what actually happens when this assumption is not true. But this one is just a very subjective argumentation, so it's not so important. All right, cool. So everybody is done. Do you know who's why your colleague is missing? Maybe I will send an email later. Okay, then let's continue. So the most essential part last time was this validation plan, and I would just, as a repetition, quickly go through it and see if you still have some questions, and also if you already found a name for your startup. So it would be great if you can fill in here in project name your name. So Chen, so your customer hypothesis is busy working white collar in cities. Your problem hypothesis, there's no time to prepare dinner. That is why they do not eat healthy. All right, interesting hypothesis. And the riskiest assumption, yes, it makes a lot of sense. White collar workers want to eat healthy. And how you want to test this assumption is through customer interview. Yes, very nice. You could also think about, because customer interview is always one-on-one, right? So you interviewing one potential customer. In this case, as from my feeling, you could also do a survey. So meaning you prepare one survey and you send it out to 30 white collar workers. This is you will get much more data, and it will be much faster for you instead of interviewing 30 individual white collar workers. As I think this assumption you can already test with not so qualitative data, right? So quantitative could be also enough here. But just an idea. And your minimum success criteria is 6 out of 10 want to eat healthy. All right, so 60%. Yeah, cool. That's a good start. And your name of the startup is Fit Delivery. Sounds good. Cool. Did you have some questions or was all clear? All right, I guess then all clear. Okay, Ethan, do you already have a name?
I don't know which name should we have, because seems making name is already always hard for me.
To find names?
Like
what is hard for you? Ethan?
should we just name like
yeah, it's just better if you have a name, but
not yet.
Okay, all right, then until next week. Cool. Customer hypothesis, subway passengers, problem hypothesis, the daily boring journey in the subway. If you compare it, it's always better to understand if you actually formulate the hypothesis also as a problem. You know, here in your formulation, you could say, you could interpret, or you could mean completely different things. So what is actually the problem of the daily boring? Is the problem that the subway is so crowded and that's why you cannot do anything else than smelling other people? Is it boring because the connection is bad? Is it boring because you're sleeping, or, you know, so it needs to be better formulated. What is actually the problem? That would be great. Okay, and then your risky assumption, there are enough tunnels with advertising space. Okay. Method is research interview, and the minimum success criterion. What do you mean with the 50%?
I mean the 50% is just like for example, Frankfurt. You can you find the you can find at least 2 tunnel which can let our business plan come true. Then you can be I can say you can be success in this city.
Okay, but then that's I don't understand that from the 50%. You could maybe say I need 500 kilometers of tunnels in whole Germany, or you can also start with Frankfurt. So, but it needs to be more concrete, you know, because what does mean 50? What does a 50% mean?
I mean the 50 actually as my original idea is 50% of the German city can find the long tunnel.
Okay, but I mean the number or the success criterion you're looking for is the kilometer of tunnels where you can place your advertising space? Or is it a number of tunnels, or what is it exactly?
Oh, I mean, um, our experience in China is if you want a tunnel for such advertising, you need at least 500 meters tunnel, a single tunnel.
Okay, so that's perfect. I mean, this is much more specific. You can say there are minimum 20 500-meter tunnels within Germany, or you say there are minimum 3 500-meter tunnels within Frankfurt. It's yeah. So
Oh, that sounds better.
But please just remember, I mean, it doesn't mean if Frankfurt has the tunnels that also Hamburg has the tunnels, right? That's not really. Then you need to validate another thing.
And the size of the tunnel is also different.
Exactly. So that's why maybe it's better to start with whole Germany already in this case. But you can decide.
Oh God, that's making the things even more complex because in China the tunnel is always one standard, and in German because we have East German, we have West German. These tunnels can be in different size.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I think it's a bit more complicated. You're correct. Yeah.
It just remind me something new.
Yeah. But all right, then think about it until next week. I think if you also come across an idea which is too complicated to validate, maybe it's also a better idea how to find something more easier.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end, the task of this course here is not build the product and have a ready startup. It's more getting to know the validation process, right? So at the end, if you find out that your idea is not feasible and your validation efforts show that it's not so good to start it, that's also a result. So that can be also a potential outcome. So it's not important how the solution looks like. It's more important how you came, how did the process look like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, focus on the process, not the result, right?
Correct. Good word. Yeah.
But I will try to do it in a positive way.
Yeah, that's right. That was very positive. Yeah. All right, cool. Then shall we? All right. You still need some time, or is it okay? All right, then let's see. Race. Okay. Customer hypothesis: Chinese students and office workers who want to eat healthy when they are on diet. Okay. Problem hypothesis: unhealthy food with much oil and sugar in school or office canteen. Again, you want to say with a problem, but it's better to actually formulate it like a problem, right? So potential formulation could be Chinese students can only eat unhealthy food because they're in school and office canteens, there are only food with much oil and sugar or something. So yeah, I know what you mean, but it's sometimes better if you really formulate it on point. Risky assumption: they already have rich experience about healthy food. I don't understand this assumption. What do you want to say with that? Okay, you will change it later. Do you want to explain the riskiest assumption?
Change the business idea because it is very similar to the Sutton. So I want to change, but I haven't updated. So I'll update.
You don't have to do it. If this is your idea, you can do it.
I will up. I have to change.
Up to you. From my
know.
side, you can decide.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. All right, so pet care. So the customers are pet owners, okay. The problem hypothesis, pet owners think the cost of pet foster care in pet shops is too expensive. Do they think that, or is it actually the problem? Okay, yeah, that's something you need to test, that's correct. So the riskiest assumption is pet owners want cheaper but good pet foster care, all right? Yeah, you can do that with a customer interview. Similar to Jen, you could also do customer surveys, which we will show or learn today. So you get more data from more people in an easier way. 4 out of 10. Yeah, I'm not sure if 40% is enough. I mean, it's a big market for sure. So pet foster care is a very big market. So if you would get 40% of that, that's good. But maybe, yeah, me personally, I would increase the number, maybe 5 out of 10 or 6 out of 10, but that's up to you. Okay, cool. So this so far from the repetition. Now I would like to show you how to create your own surveys. Who of you worked with Google Forms before? Make a sign if you already worked with Google Forms. Nobody. Okay. So we got some time now. I'm just checking. I want to do a break at 4. Okay, so then we've got a bit less than 1 hour. You still see my screen, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right, so this is only one option how you can do surveys. But this is for free, this Google Forms. It has a lot of functionalities and it even has some reportings. So when I do forms or when I do surveys, I always use Google Forms. So how do you find it? You just, oh, you wrote no. So you don't see my screen? Do you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen. We meant to we didn't use the Google Form before.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. So then you just Google Forms. You can use it privately. Oh, that's in German. Let me see how I can change it to English so you understand it as well. Okay. So then you can click just on personal, go to Google Forms. And then they even have some templates already here. I'm sorry, it's all in German. It's not good. I will change it. Yes, okay, now. All right, so you already have some templates here you can even use in the general. So here's already a form for customer feedback, but you can check if something there works for you, but I would like to just start with a blank one, with a white one. So here you can just click on it. So there are different changes you can do. First, you can change the design. Sometimes that's important. So you can do different background colors here. You can upload an image for the top. So maybe if you do something with food, you can have here such a banner. Okay, but that's up to you how you do it. The functionality of the form in general is very simple. It's all online in the cloud. So for example, you can here say startup idea survey. And in the form description, this is a text everybody can read when you send it to them. And what I always do there, it's very important to mention how long it takes to fill out the survey. Something like, dear, thanks so much for filling out the survey. It will only take 5 minutes. In return, you will get feedback and free products after my startup is launched, something like that. So just here important, never tell them what you do, right? Because we learned that we are not allowed to describe our solution. Only tell them how long does the survey takes and what's the benefit for this person to fill out the survey. So if it's maybe people want to help you, so this could be a benefit. So you can say, if you fill this out, this means a lot to me. You will help me a lot to understand better your problems, to make a better product for you, right? So this is some value for the person who fills out your survey. So always get into the mind of your potential customer and the people you send the survey to, and understand and try to think what motivates them to fill out your survey, and tell them it only takes 5 minutes. Cool, so this is the start. And then here you have different options. If you click on it, it gets bigger. I will just delete it here. And then I just add a new question. And then here you can decide how does this question, which format does the question should have. So it can be a short answer, it can be a paragraph, it can be a multiple choice, checkboxes, drop down, and it could be some more complicated multiple choice grid. I will explain that later. I think file upload or date you don't really need. in this case. So let's start with the what is the usual structure of those surveys? Right, I will just sit down. It's usually you start with the demographics. So how old are you? So the Google already recognizes that it's about some numbers. And then so if they write here some text, in this case, they would get an error message because Google is validating this answer only if there are only numbers. But in this case, I don't really mind because people can say 35 years. They can also only write 35. It doesn't matter. So I will remove that. And here you can decide whether this question is mandatory or not. If it's mandatory, people cannot send the form, the survey, without filling out this field. So most of the are mandatory, just those which are not so for you, I will just make it choosable by the person. Okay, how old are you? Then the second question, where are you from? Also short answer required. Where do you work, for example? I mean, this is just some basic questions. Obviously, they should, here you can say multiple choice or no, let's say check boxes. Those questions at the beginning, they are very broad, but you should always customize them for your use. So, for example, in case of the delivery fit, I think it was called, right? Fit delivery, sorry. You want to target busy working white collar people, right? So here it's important to find out more about them very specifically. So first you want to test, is this person who fills out the survey actually a white collar worker, right? So you can say here, finance, where do you work, management, consulting, food chain, whatsoever. So just you can add as many options as you like. But these first questions, they should always make you more understanding and help you understand your target group better. And it should help you to check if this person who fills out the survey is actually your target group. Because, you know, if somebody fills out and he's not or she's not a busy working white collar, and this person says, no, I'm already eating healthy, then that's not a good information for you, because this is that was not your original target group, so not within your hypothesis. All right. So what else is possible here? So you always start with the demographics. You can even start up at year. You can add a title here. So you can say just some questions about yourself. And then after some time, you can say, okay, I want to have a section 2. So this is also very, very important to have different sections, because if you have, let's say, I don't know, 20, 30 questions, and you have it in one long page, that's very overwhelming, and people have the fear that it takes a long time to fill it out, and so on. So I would rather have like different sections, and then here, so for example, questions about your nutrition. Here you can say, how much money do you earn or something. As I said, and here you can give some ranges, this is better. So 2,000, or let's say 2. And so on and so on. So questions about your nutrition. So you can then, in the second step, you should ask more about the problems, right? So try to, with the questions, try to get an understanding what problem they have. And by the way, if you set required, you see just the red star here, right? So people see, okay, this question needs to be filled out. Okay, so if you are here now in this second question, you could, for example, ask, how many times per week do you eat dinner? So you say 1 to 2 times, 3 to 5 times, 6 to 7 times. And then maybe you can add a paragraph, describe what you like the most and the least about your dinner. And so on and so on. So maybe let's go through the different types of questions. So you already saw the short answer, you see the paragraph. Paragraph is just the same as a short answer, but with a longer answer text. Multiple choice is, you can always click here on the preview, and then you will see your survey in action. So you can here fill it out. And then you see here, okay, next. So multiple choice means you only can choose one of the questions, right? Like one of the answer possibilities. So you cannot do 2, obviously. But if you have checkboxes, you can have different answer possibilities. So for example, which of those ingredients, or let's take another case. Ethan, thinking about, yeah, you need to use not serve, but
You see, I already I'm here.
Yeah, great. Activision. Nice, cool. Yeah, maybe this is a question. What do you usually do while commuting with the train, for example? Then you can say here, reading, sleeping, talking, and so on. And at the end, sorry. Okay, and in this case, you can actually choose more things than one, right? So because people can speak and they can read, that's checkboxes. Then in case of drop down, and this is just a drop down menu, I think you all know it. I don't know, please choose your, let's take another example. Please choose the please choose the investment you did in the last months for pet food. And then you can say here 0 to 100 euros, 101 to 300, and so on. And then it's just yeah, a drop down. By the way, you can always add an image. So I don't know. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it doesn't look nice, but I mean, in this case, it doesn't make sense to add an image. But for example, if you have some kind of image or visual where you want to get feedback on, you could just say, what was the first thing which popped up in your mind when seeing this picture, right? And so maybe you can get some more information out of that. So sometimes it's useful to add images. All right, then we have the linear scale. This is in surveys used very often. So, for example, for statements, how likely do you agree you can say how long the scale is, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, depends what you want to put. I always do 1 to 5, as people need to decide between 3 and 4, because there's no middle, right? In 1 to 5, there's no 2.5, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So you have a better differentiator there. How likely let's see. How likely will you find healthy food in your office canteen? And then you will see it later how it will look like. This is, yeah, you already see it like here. So this is a question, and then people can press 1 to 5, and you can name those directions here individually. If you have multiple choice grid, it's a bit more complicated, and I will show you this on this one example. Where was it? Okay, no, then let's create another one. So here you can basically give out different statements. Statement like I like color blue. I have a pet, and so on. see if that works. No, that does not work. Let me think. Where was it? I will, one sec. Yes, here, okay. So do you still see my screen with the new survey I showcased you? Do you see it?
We just can see the Google.
Okay,
your,
then.
your Google form. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I need to change my, yes, here. Okay, so this is a survey I did, and just show you how I did it. So here I put the logo. That's the title, how long it takes approximately, then a small text. And then at first tell us about you and your work. Yeah? So it's what's your job title, company size, what are the customers of your company, and so on and so on. So let us know what it takes to master your job. What is the hardest part about your job? How do you tackle these challenges at the moment? Why do these tasks take so much time? Why are they important? What do you hate about content marketing and why? And so on and so on. And then here you see, I will just quickly go to fill it out, otherwise I won't get to the next page. One sec. So this grid can be used in special, if you have special information you need, like this one. So we ask here, how important are the following use cases for you? So basically, we put here some statements, and then we ask, okay, if it's important, like not at all important or extremely important. And here also very important for you to add NA, which means I don't know. Because sometimes if you do not add this option, people just click not at all important, but they actually did not know what they want, like, should answer. So always add also the I don't know button. So we ask here what kind of idea or what kind of problem is important for them. So get new content ideas for your brand, or create high quality content faster. So we ask here basically some preferences and ask them and connected them to, are they important or not? That's what we did there. And let me skip back to the other form we just used to do. Yeah. And then the last one is a tick box grid, which is very similar, but just that you can have several answers. So like here in checkboxes and multiple choice, you can do only one answer, and here you can have several. It's the same thing here. Here, only one answer within the grid. And here, the tick box, you can have several answers within the grid. So if I skip back, where is it now?
God, what's wrong? Oh, okay.
No, sorry. Yeah. Here in this case, I only want, like you see here, per line, I can only have one answer. I cannot have two. This is a multiple choice grid. If I would have the tick box grid, I could have two options per line. But I can have, for every line, I can have one answer. But within the line, just one, because I want, this case cannot be not at all important or extremely important. So just one. Okay, yeah, so let's see how this survey ends here. So there are 7 pages, so it's a quite long journey, I have to say. Better if you have maybe 2 or 3 pages. But that was, 12 minutes is already pretty long. So better if you have like 5 minutes. Then question, what is the most important reason for your business? To invest into content marketing, also multiple choice. And here you see now a tick box. So we wanted to find out what kind of content do they produce on a regular basis. So you can choose here different things. And then this is some like the scale, some answer, again the scale. Can you explain why? So this is also important for you to better understand why they put this info like an 8 here. So why, and so on and so on. And the end, the last page was, hey, thank you, truly, now it's time to give back. We provide you early access to our content marketing solution. And here at the end, and this is what we discussed, I think, last time, where some of you said, why can I not show this person my product already? In this moment now, I think it's a good idea to show your current product, or at least different versions. So here, basically, we said, hey, we already have some solutions, we already have some products. Which of those products do you want to choose? And this gives you also another information. Okay, if they now choose the second solution, and if 90% of the people choose the second solution, I mean this image and this text here, this value proposition. So what are the benefits of using this product? Then you can say for yourself, all right, this is the product I should build. Because 90% of the people, they wanted to have this, they wanted to have an access to this product, or they wanted to have this product for free. You still did not test the willingness to pay, but at least you saw that people requested your product. And then at the end, just add your email, because obviously you want to collect emails. If your product is ready, you want to send out an email, hey, we are live now, hey, we have the product, you can buy us now. And also another ending question I always like is, who else should we talk to? Because if maybe they have a friend and they know this friend is also eating unhealthy food all the time, or is traveling a lot in the train, then it's for you good, so you have more people to talk to. And then at the end, this person just clicks on submit, and then the survey is gone. And now I will show you how does the data look like. You have to analyze then afterwards. So it's the same thing, right? So we were in the questions part here before. So here you can build your survey, you can change everything. You can also add videos here, I just saw. And then here, when you click on responses, Google gives you already some analytics and some reports. Sorry. Obviously, those reports work better for, let's say, yes or no questions or for multiple choice, and not so much for the qualitative free text inputs. Because what you see here now, we had 20 responses, and everybody of them except of 2, they wrote individual job titles. So one called himself or herself founder, writer. So in this case, I will show you what you can do. But here you already see it very nicely. 65% were self-employed, 35 were employed. How does the company size look like? So many people, just one person company, and so on, right? So you have a nice information here. Here you have the text answers as well. So here's the question, here are the answers. And this is how it looks like with the multiple choice grid. Remember that was like, this one here. So for the use case, create content to connect better with your target group. 2 said slightly important, 1 said moderately important, and 10 said extremely important. And create content to connect better is a 7. So I can show you actually one funny thing here. So you see here, we ask how important are the following use cases for you? Okay, so use case is create high quality content faster, predict performance of your content before you write it, find suitable influences. And the colors here, you see them, the more they go into the purple direction, the more important they are. And right, so the more green and the more purple, the better, because people think this use case is very important for them. So when I look at this one here, create content to connect better with your one target audience, it has 7 green and 10 purple. So 17 people who said, well, yeah, that's very important or extremely important, right? And then if we had the second question, and the second question was about, please indicate how likely it would be for you to use a paid web app for each use case. So in this case, you see the big difference here, right? So people found it very important with this use case, but only 2 people wanted to pay for it, or extremely likely, and only 8 want to pay very likely for it, and the rest not really. So here that's just a very interesting thing. So what do people think is important, and for what are they actually willing to pay for? That's a completely different thing, but which you can already find out, or at least the first indicator with such surveys here. Yeah, so this is how here also very nice if you gave some tick boxes. So you see here that most people create blog posts, and then social media posts. Yeah, and at the end, if I scroll down, you actually see that people gave in some more emails from colleagues, and they also gave 18 out of the 20 people gave in their email. So that's quite cool. So that's already first marketing leads for communications later. Yeah, so if you then have prepared such a survey, what is the next step? I would always ask a friend to check it, to go once again through the survey and ask the friend, hey, what did you didn't understand? What was weird? Did you understand the questions correctly, and so on? And then what you can do is, let's go into settings first. So here you can add some more settings. For example, if the people already answered your survey, can they go back and edit actually their answers? You can say yes, or if you don't put it, you can it's no. Here, the collect email address, I would not use it via Google. I would just add a form, like the question, what is your email address? Like we did it at the end. The progress bar is pretty important, because this means the progress bar is this one here. So people actually see how far they are in the process and say, oh, come on, only 2 pages left, I will finish it. So this is quite helpful to put it. Yeah, you can also shuffle the order of the questions. So if you have the hypothesis that questions at the end of your survey are maybe that people are tired or they are not really answering them, you can just shuffle. So in person A, the question is different, the order than in person B. But we never used it, so I don't know if that's really important for you as well. Yeah, so that's important. And then you just click on send. And the easiest thing is to just use the link here. So you can click on the link symbol, click shorten URL, and then you have the shorten URL. And then you can just go into your mail program and send this link to your people. You can send it in LinkedIn, in Facebook, in WeChat, wherever you like. And then people get to the survey and they can fill it out. Yeah, that's more or less it. Do you have some questions? No? All clear? Okay, then I suggest, as this will be your part of your homework, let's. So we have. I wanted to do a break at 4, so in 15 minutes. And after the break, we will have a look into how to build a landing page. So that's also very, very interesting. I would then suggest that you have now 15 minutes until your break, just to test out how to build a survey. You can start building your own survey already. So then you can ask questions after the break if you came across some challenges. And I will be here. So just ask me anytime. And then we will do a break from 4 to 4:15. And then at 4:15, like in half an hour, we will continue with the landing page. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, just let me know if you have questions, and let me know if you cannot find the Google Forms or if you cannot create any form.